live in a wonderful world. Yes, we do. I see trees of green, red roses too, and I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yes it is. Clouds of white, skies of blue, bright blessed days for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by, shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Babies crying, and I'll watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Hey, I'm David Williams, 50 plus, body, mind, and spirit. I'm here today with a great entertainer, performer. I haven't been, which is my first interview for a couple of months, so I'm really excited about this next person I'm going to interview. His name is Clyf Hangar. That's his stage name, but we're going to really get to know him and see what he's all about. So I'm going to welcome right now Clyf Hangar. Hey man, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this down because I don't think I need it.
All right.
Yeah. So how you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So of course we're at the Relapse Theater.
Yes.
Here in Midtown.
Yes.
And so, tell me a little bit about yourself. We know that you're a performer, an artist,
Correct.
choreographer,
Yes.
dancer.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit more. Where are you from?
Well, my family's from originally from Puerto Rico. My dad was in the military, so we were an Army family. Generally moved around my entire life, every other year. Ended up crash landing in Kentucky, where I spent my high school life. That took me from Kentucky. College took me to Chicago for Illinois Institute of Art. I pursued my art career pretty much there for 16 years before I moved to Atlanta.
Beautiful. And you've been in Atlanta how long?
2 years. I've been here since
2 years. What do you think about Atlanta? You like it?
I do. I had to get used to how chill it is.
Yeah.
You know, like the southern chill.
Yeah, believe me, I know. My first 2 weeks here, it took me a minute to understand some of the dialect.
Yeah.
I couldn't, because of the southern dialect. But it's still interesting to be in Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely.
For me, you know, the southern tradition, the southern lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we met at a burlesque show.
Correct.
I saw you doing about a burlesque show.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit how you got into that.
Well, I had somebody that I was dating who was into burlesque, and I wanted to help him along, and he wanted to do a show on his own. So we started what they call Boylesque in Chicago with Bendy Man, and he got me into performing. Like I was just there for the choreography and just the opening and closing group numbers.
Right.
And eventually I showed up on my own and started doing my own acts, and you know, like the kind of acts I do like generally have to do with, you know, something that helps me feel body positive and you know, powerful.
Yes.
And you know, I just feel beautiful.
You're a great guy. So, you know, I do 50 plus, but you're not 50 yet.
No.
What, about 25?
40.
40 years old.
Yeah.
Young, beautiful 40. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
good. September. So it's September, baby.
Yeah.
That's good. So, you know, with everything that's going on, you know, out here in the world today, you know, I think you were telling me earlier before the show tonight, you were talking to me about kind of identifying with who you are.
Yeah.
We had a conversation before, and you were saying, you know, you don't want to deny that
I don't.
Spirit. And tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, it was a Lily's name?
Sure.
Okay, so Lily and I had a conversation in the summer about Black Lives Matter, and it had a lot to do with people being attacked or people being killed by the police and the police brutality. When she came to me with this, she was talking about maybe doing a fundraiser or some kind of show that's surrounded resisting against police brutality. And I believe that my statement at the time was I don't feel like I understand that world, and I don't feel like I'm responsible.
Right, and that was kind of a powerful statement.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to stop on that statement real quick, because
Okay.
that was saying I don't want to be I'm not responsible for that, I'm not a part of that.
Correct. Yeah.
So then you thought about it, and what happened?
Well, it took me at least, I would say, 2 weeks to a month to actually really focus in on the news stories, everything that was happening in the world at the time. Every day there was somebody new murdered or abused or like brutally attacked by.
You hear it every other day.
Yeah,
You see it on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
So then I started thinking about some of my family history. My mom more recently told me about my grandfather's history with his great grandparents. He was from Savannah, and she told me that my great grandparents were lynched by the KKK, and my grandfather ended up being homeless from age 12 to 15 until he was able to get into the military.
So when did you find that out?
That was about like three or 4 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's recent information that you really didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, on my dad's side, we also have ancestors. Some of my great aunts and uncles have been doing research on where our ancestry comes from in the Caribbean. The Caribbean, for a lot of people don't understand. What a lot of people don't understand about the Caribbean is that was the port for slaves to come to the U.S. And my family in Puerto Rico, they basically have found history of our great-great-great-grandmother. I can't remember the name right now. I do have photographs. But when she was liberated from slavery, the slave master's name that we have, we adopted, which was Jesus Obermente. And we know once she was liberated in the 1800s, late 1800s, the slave master gave her all of his property. So she was like the doña. She was like, she owned the property. And my family named Palu, they did a lot of work in creating the laws and the government in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So if you ever hear the last name Palu, that we're very much involved in the movement there for the laws in Puerto Rico. I have aunts, great aunts in New York who were there for the civil rights movement in Harlem, Harlem riots.
Yes.
So they were one of my aunts is a radio personality.
Okay.
Who was a black female personality.
So you're black and Puerto Rican?
Yes, my family has very, very strong African roots.
Beautiful.
And we're very, very connected to that and proud of that.
It's amazing when we look at our ancestry that are, how it just connects with being slaves and the slave master, the name.
Yeah.
It all connects. And once you learn more about that and who you are, you can kind of take a stance with where you are today.
Absolutely.
In 2018, going into the future.
Yeah.
And the way things are we're still being affected by a lot of that.
Absolutely.
So tell me now, you learned the story now,
Yeah.
and so where are you at with that now?
Well, the thing is that, I feel like, in a very big way, God brought these messages to me. I'm very connected to my spirituality and with God, and what He brings to my world. And I needed to hear that so that my backbone would straighten up. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
I don't feel like there's anybody. If you're a black person, a black male, black female, great grandparents, grandparents in this country, the fight is not ended. We are still battling with atrocities. Even as far down as from the prison system, to the wage system.
It's still a fight. It's still a battle. We're still right, of course.
The society has not allowed us to evolve, emerge. There are still things that we are held down.
So being where you are at 40 years old, what is that stance? What is your backbone now?
My backbone is that, like I show up, like I think that a lot of people don't realize is that back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, there were people who showed up to places and they were vocal and they were out there, their faces were out there. I always ask myself, like, where's our Malcolm X from for this decade, for this era? Where's our Martin Luther King?
Right.
They two very different men.
But the message, they were fighters.
But they were
and
fighters.
The message. So with your art, I think we were talking earlier about how you wanted to do a show maybe with that strong message.
Yes.
And using it with performing arts.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So I have an idea for, like a choreographed dance that would showcase, like basically showing, police brutality in its reality, making it into art, but at the same time keeping it the severity of what it is, the reality of what it is.
And then making it entertaining.
Yeah, well,
That's kind of a challenge
trying
in a way. Getting the message across, I guess that would be.
I think people come to see art to be entertained, but I also see art as it's always been a message, a way to get a message across.
Right, it is.
Look at the Bauhaus movement, that was around the Nazi,
Of course.
Nazi Germany era, and we go on about that. The 70s, when it came to the 70s, a lot of the hippie movement had to do with, the dancing of freedom.
I'm a 70s child.
Yeah.
Disco,
Yeah.
it flowed over. And there was a lot of protesting too
Absolutely.
back then,
for a war that,
of course.
we shouldn't have fought.
Right, exactly.
So for me, it's like, I wanted to showcase that, but also showcase that we, when we go, wherever we go, that we're still connected to the spirits of our ancestors.
Yes.
All the way back to Africa.
Of course, when I first moved here to Atlanta, Georgia, I had never been here before and had no connections here, other than my mom was from Alabama. So, but when I came here, I felt something really powerful and strong. I felt like I had a connection here,
Yeah.
and I could feel it. It was deep, it was rich. It was something I didn't feel in California. And so I still feel that richness, that it's a spiritual thing. I can't even describe it.
Yeah, I feel it's strange, but I feel a sadness. There's a sadness here. I live close to the Kennesaw battlefield. And every time I drive by that, there's some weight
Right.
that I feel that so many people, not only black men and women, but everybody. There's so much death.
Yes,
so much turmoil, so much. That we were fighting
Senseless.
against each other.
Exactly.
As being an American, I'm proud of being American.
Yes.
But we still have that battle between each other.
Yes, yes.
We still have that battle.
Yes.
It's just more, virtual.
More virtual, exactly, that's true. So what can we look for towards the future for you? What is happening? I know you're going to do one of our shows
Yes.
called The Art of Seduction, which is happening in March. Well, you'll hear more about that.
Yeah,
And you're going to be a headliner in that show.
Thank you.
Yes. So what's coming up for you?
I'm developing, that number that I was talking about is still in development, so I hope to display that sometime in 2019.
And if you need help with that, yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, of course. I will be in Memphis on December 15th.
What's going on in Memphis?
Coco's Christmas.
Oh.
I don't remember the venue. I do
Okay.
apologize,
No,
but it
that
will be
should
on
be
the
fun.
15th. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm doing a fundraiser for a really good friend of mine, Diego Wolf. It's called the Burlesque Holiday at the Red Light Cafe.
How?
Yeah.
I get it. That's cool.
I am on January 15th. I'll be in Knoxville for the Bear Doll performance. It's
You really come up, man.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
doing that. I remember when we first met you were still kind of
Yeah.
beginning. Look at you now, traveling and gigging and become quite a star.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Right. You have good ethics and you show up. You do show up on time. You're a great person to work with. I know this. And I'm looking forward to working with you again.
Absolutely.
In the new year.
Yeah.
So, holiday plans?
I'll be performing.
I love that. I'd love to be performing.
Yeah, I'm doing the New Year's Speakeasy with Tallulah and
Nice.
you.
Cool.
So I'll be doing that as well.
Cool.
Holidays, for me, it's like, if I'm not working, then, I do have people at home, my family, nephews are number one,
And they're supportive.
Yeah.
They're supportive. I love that family structure you guys have. Now, what can we tell the people? Where can they find you on Instagram, Facebook?
Instagram, IG is at Latin Geek, LATNGEEK. CK78. If you look on Facebook, it's Clyf Hangar, CLYF, HANGAR.
Mr. Cliffhanger, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
here
much.
tonight. I love you,
Appreciate you.
bro.
Thank
Yes,
you.
let's do it. I'm looking forward to our show.
right, thank you.
You guys, thank you. 50 Plus Body, Mind, and Soul. This is what it's all about, connecting with our people. And he's young, but I had to grab him and get an interview with him. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here. Bye, y'all.